we're gonna fly.
Okay, guys, thanks for coming in today. And our guest speaker, she will join us very shortly. But before I start, maybe I want to go through a little bit about the webinar today, so you guys know what to expect, what you're going to get out of it, what you will learn, and hopefully this will be a very helpful session. Not to maybe some of you are new to me, you might not know who I am. Just a quick introduction of myself. My name is Leo, and I'm the CEO of 𝐿EO Educations. We are the leading agency for regional areas, and today I have with me Miss Hana. She will join us very shortly. Hana is an accountant, very successful accountant, and she has done very well for herself. Now she's running her own accounting firm, and I know many of you here are looking for jobs in accounting, and that's why I have invited her to join us to share with us some of her experience about accounting, and hopefully this will be a good session for everyone. Also, during the session, please, if you have any questions, put in the chat box, and I will try my best to ask those questions to Hana, so we can have your question answered. Okay, so that's the intention. Okay, I think she's in. Okay, Hana, can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, great. Thanks for doing this, Hana. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Guys, thanks for coming here today again. I hope the intention of the purpose of this webinar today is to provide you solid advice on how you can find accounting jobs. I know we're going through not an easy time to find jobs especially in accounting. So, and that's why Hana is here. She's here to help you and just to give you some of her own experience and some of the advice, so you can be more confident, go out there and make it happen. But again, thank you for doing this, Hana. Appreciate you.
No, all good. The honor is all mine. And when I was a student looking for a job as an accountant, I did join events and seminars that was like having speakers who were also accountants at the same time. And I learned a lot from the experience of other people. So hopefully the experience or the journey that I have gone through will be able to help one or two people today. Not expecting for many, but as many as possible. However, I mean, like the helping spirit keep passing on from the older generations to the younger generations. It has always been that way. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Awesome. So to start with, Hana, why don't you just do us a favor and introduce a bit about yourself? Like for example, like when did you start coming to Australia? So people have an idea. When you
yeah, I set my feet in Australia like about 7 years ago. Roughly 7 years ago, when I was 22 years old, and I still remember it was a very cold day in about this time of that year. So yeah, it was really cold, chill, really windy, like the wind of Melbourne. You know, I think that everyone is like couldn't forget the wind of Melbourne. So yeah.
And you came here to do is it bachelor in accounting?
Master degree, professional accounting. I did the master degree.
Yes. And what got you excited? What got you so interested in accounting and not something else? Why did you choose to go with accounting?
Well, to be honest, I was not.
Okay.
Yes, so I got a small scholarship in economics to go to Australia for studying, and I did my research at the time of like, okay, so my major when I was in Vietnam was international economics, and I was doing some research in some sort of studying that related to economics, and accounting and finance was the closest one. And you know, at that time, accounting was, and it still is, on the list of skill select that giving you a chance of like staying in Australia after graduation. And I set my purpose of getting my PR and getting my citizenship after studying. So I chose accounting by purpose, and just because I think not just me, but many Asian students are really good at numbers, are really good at maths, compared to other skills like communication skills or sales skills or marketing skills, you know, the job of our generations. Then probably math is the skills that I can compete, or as Asian student, you can compete with local people. Yeah. But if you compete with local people in some jobs relating to like sales or marketing, you need to have really good understanding about the market. You must have excellent communication skills. Even though we could speak English fluently, but the cultural understanding, and also like you could never speak the native language. So yeah, play by your strengths.
Okay. And then once you start learning it, you start liking accounting. And tell me a bit about the job. Like when was the first time you had a full-time accounting job or accounting experience?
Yes, so when I was studying accounting, you know, a little bit background on myself, like since I was from the first grade until coming to Australia, every single year you got higher distinction. Like I always got higher distinction. And then when I came to Australia, I came here with 3,000 in my pocket, and I have to work. Firstly, I have to work for my living here, and then to be able to maintain the higher distinction purpose. Like my purpose at that time was like, I'm gonna graduate with higher distinction GPA. But then I realized that what does the market need? What does the market need when it has like about few thousand of accountants on the market? So the market doesn't need people with degrees. They need people with real hands-on experience. So graduating with a shiny degree of having really good marks doesn't secure you a job. Even the graduate people will be asking, have you got any experience? Have you used this software? Have you done this? Have you done that? But they don't ask you, so this accounting subject, did you get 70% or did you get 80%? Right? So you need to be able to see what does the market need. So I like our Asian mentality, or I don't know, maybe just my family, or the people that I interact with, there's always like, oh, you can look for the job later when you graduated. But actually for the market of accounting in Australia, if you wait until graduated to get a job or to get your first experience in the accounting world, that would be too late. So I came here for about 3 months. And then I was already actively looking for a job as an accountant. You know, when you go on the website that you're looking for a job, you can set the criteria. You can set the criteria and then subscribe for the email. Say, when I came to Australia, what was my strength? Not English. If I was staying in Vietnam, my strength was speaking 2 languages and the advantage is English. But when I come here, everybody speaks 2 languages. But not everybody speaks language could speak Vietnamese. And there are some people looking for Vietnamese or whatever language that you're speaking. You could be speaking Chinese, you could be speaking Malaysian, or you could be speaking any other second language. There will always be someone else or some employer looking for that skill. So I go on the job search and then I put the keyword bookkeeper Vietnamese. Yes, like and then that or I put any other business, any other occupation, but I always put another Vietnamese the keyword or as a search criteria. So the first day that I put the search criteria and then I put my email in, the next day there was one what was the word? Podiatrist. There was one podiatrist send me the email. No, they did not send me the email. I mean, the job search website sent me the email that there is one employer looking for a Vietnamese admin / bookkeeper because their client base are Vietnamese. Even though you are working as a bookkeeper, but you are required to be able to speak the language because occasionally there will be people stepping in the store. So I got the job. I got that job. And when I was working for that guy, I didn't know how to use Xero. So I told him, who is your tax accountant? Tell me your tax accountant. I can contact that guy. And then I come there to do internship for that guy so that I can come here and work for you. So my employer put me into the direct contact with his accountant because, you know, every Australian business, they got one dedicated accountant. Accounting here in Australia is just as important as a doctor. It's just as important as a personal doctor, a personal GP, because accountant is exact GP of the business. So he introduced me with his tax accountant, and I came to the tax accountant. No, I contacted the tax accountant, and then I give him my resume. I said that I will do just internship just to understand some basic stuff, and then so that I can work for my employer better. So that he accept me, not because of me, but he accept because of the relationship that he has with my employer. So introduction is, you know what I mean? Introduction is really, really important because the introduction is exactly a shortest way for you to get your foot on the door. And
so networking is important, and you need to have network. Yeah, so good network will help you.
Networking is important, but having 500 contacts doesn't mean that you get what you want. You need to network with the right person.
Right person. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
And that's when you start accumulating the experience. Is you learn from that accountant, right? That's when it started.
Yes. So I remember very clearly one thing that tax accountant told me, that if you want to become an accountant, become a tax accountant. I don't know, maybe my experience is a little bit personal, but the explanation was any kind of other accountant can be replaceable. Financial accounting, management accounting, bookkeeping can be replaced by software automation. But this country, every 2 years, there's a new prime minister. And once the new prime minister come into office, the first change that they want to make is like they want to show the whole nation that they could create changes for the country. And then the changes that they're gonna reflect are the changes in the policies, in the tax rate, in the treatment of the, like, you know, if you watch the election of every country of every single year, you can see that, oh, Trump policy gonna make rich people richer or gonna make poor people poorer because the changes in the policy of the government. So becoming a tax accountant, it means that you're never out of job, because the changes always there will be always changes from the government, and it makes consultation forever interesting. It makes education exhausting because you have to learn new stuff every single year. But it means that, like, there's a demand for the job. There's a demand for tax accountant because every business owner want to be updated with the tax regulation, and as soon as the change come out, they need a tax accountant to interpret the changes and the regulations from the government. That's why I choose to become tax accountant. But I know that there are positions of management accountant or financial accountant. The reward, like the salary on the market, is much better than public accountant. There's two different kind of accountants on the market. Okay. Corporate accountant or public accountant. Corporate accountant is like the accountant who works for one company, say the accountant who works for a hospital. So 10 years of working for a hospital, that accountant only knows the account of that business. Public accountant is like me, for example, working for one accounting firm, providing accounting services for multiple business owners. Okay, so this is a thing that accountant students should understand. Public accountant or corporate accountant, different kind of accounting. if you decided to go into corporate accounting, the salary, the starting point is high. For example, like you could get a position of like assistant financial accountant at 60K or 50K immediately, but public accountant, you can only start at 40, 45 on the market right now. But then 1 year of public accounting is comparable to 10 years of corporate accounting, because 1 year of a public accountant, you could touch 100 different business. So, and then public accountant, the sky is unlimited. Like you start low, but the sky is unlimited. Corporate accounting, you start higher, but there's a limited range of salary that you can get. In terms of visa, they don't care as long as your contract says you tax accountant, management accountant, financial accountant. It doesn't really matter. You can get PR under either of those positions. So yeah, I did apply my PR under tax accountant.
Tax accountant.
So yeah, those kind of things might be important for you when you consult for students, when they ask, oh, this one in management accountant, this one financial accountant, this one general accountant, and this one tax accountant. The difference is like for them to shape their career ideas before they step into the accounting world.
So you would recommend them to follow the pathway that maybe starting as a bookkeeper or maybe even an intern to start with, and then slowly make your way up?
Of course, because you cannot jump into an accountant position straight away. You need to start somewhere, because like right now, even the graduate position, they require like at least 1 year of experience. Because the amount of training that you have to spend on one person who's so fresh, it's just insane. Like you have to tell them every single thing. So that's why, coming back from what I have shared from the beginning, that what does the market needs, right? The market doesn't need you with multiple accounting degrees. Like I got a friend who studied a lot, who studied finance degree, who studied accounting degree, and then start CPA on his own, but he never actually actively looking for a job. Then that person with a lot of qualification, but you just couldn't get a job because they require you to have hands-on experience. You need to understand the software. You need to understand the differences of software, the differences of tax rules and regulations and everything. Yeah. So any position is good. So yeah.
You know, when you mentioned about the software, can they do this sort of short courses? Because I see they do some short courses on Udemy, short course about accounting. Is it work like that? Does that help if they just do that short course? If they really cannot be able to find an internship, can they just do those courses? Is that going to help them really?
Yes, of course. So because some short courses like introduction about 1 or 2 software like Xero or MyOp, like as fast as I know on the market right now, you could cost up to like 2,000 or 3,000 per course. So for people who got the budget, then my recommendation is yes. But for the people who, like, for example, I think about myself when I was a student, there's no way that I could be able to afford for that. So any software right now on the market allow you to create a trial account. You go on and create a trial account, create a demo company, watch the training video, and then practice it yourself. Because why accounting is called accounting skills? What does skills mean? Skills is something that you do repetitively, like repetitive. And then because you repeat it as many times as possible, you repeat it as much as you can until the point it becomes your skills. Right? So they call it accounting skills. They don't call it like accounting talent or accounting something. They call it accounting skills, because if you repeat enough and if you have the logic, you have the understanding, then you will have the skills. So for the people who do not have the budget of like joining some courses, then they should create a trial account with Xero, with MyOp, with QuickBooks. All those software allow you to create a trial account. And if the trial account is expired, you register for another trial account with a different email. Because each email, each user allow you like,
So
you know, yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
awesome.
They allow you like about 60 days of trial. If one account is already expired, you can create another account with another email, and then you learn as much as you can. I mean, like familiarize yourself with the functions, with all the buttons, with the with the, you know, with the software, with as many tabs as possible. Then when you actually have to do the job, the employer can see that, oh, so he or she actually already know a little bit about using the software. At least they don't have to train you from the beginning. At least you need to show that you put effort into it.
Got you.
Yeah.
Which is I think there's just one question here. I think it's valid questions, Hana, and I think it would be good if you can answer them. So this is like this. Jobs advertised and require experience, but you don't have experience. How do you approach it if it does require experience, but you don't have it? Should you just leave it, or you should just give it a shot and apply anyway?
Why not give it a shot? What if you're really good at it, right? What if you are really good at it? Then you never know, because for some people it may be hard for them to like start from the scratch. But I've seen some people who really good. So, and it is okay if you got fired on the first job, because even if like, because the probation of a job is 6 months in Australia, what if you got fired after 3 months of probation? That is okay, because you got 3 months of training for free and then get paid as well. Whereas some other people who have to pay for training. So my recommendation is just to take it if that's the opportunity, and then learn as much as you can on the free time, at night when you go home, or on the weekend. You even show them like how hard you work. Maybe your productivity is not as good as other people, but you're willing to bring the work home, to work on the weekend, to work at night, to make up for the inefficiency of your productivity. Because the thing is, it is also the burden on employer for recruiting the people who don't have enough skill set for the job. But there is minimum wage requirement from the government that it doesn't matter how productivity of them, you need to pay them this much. So I understand the difficulties from student point of view. If you're never given a chance, how the hell that you would know? But there's also the difficulties from the employer point of view, because accounting world is really brutal. It is really brutal. Like, you have to work long hours. There's a lot of job to follow up. There's a lot of things to like, and then regulations and rules always change every single day. So there's a lot of pressure on them. So for you guys, like, for example, if they pay you $20 an hour, and then you feel like you're not efficient enough, show them that you're willing to learn, you're willing to make up for that. You bring the job home, you work from home, even though they only employ you 20 hours, but you're willing to work for 40 hours per week, because that's what I did. And if you because on the market right now, there's like about 6,000 of international students studying for accounting from China, from India, from Vietnam, from all the populated country. How the hell are you gonna stand out? How can you stand out? By showing them that you got effort, you're putting the effort into it, you learn fast, and you're willing to show the employer that you are determined to become an accountant. That's why it is rewarding for them to investing into you. Otherwise, why would I invest in you? Like right now, if you post a job of accountant on SICK, do you know how many people are gonna apply? Like, it's insane. So yeah, I think you should get the job. You should get the job. You do it. Show them that, yes, I don't know as much as you're willing me to know, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to bring the job home. I'm willing to work 8 hours hour. I'm a student. You can only work 20 hours. That is okay.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna work more.
What if they refuse you? Let's say this guy applied for the job and he put his heart and soul in applying for the job, and the outcome is negative. So should he follow up with the employer, or should he just leave it and let's go to another? Would you suggest them to continue follow up with the same employer if they already rejected you?
I don't think you should keep following with the same employer if they already rejected you. Like, think about yourself as the employer. They have multiple choices. If they already rejected you, they're not gonna look again. Like I said, play with your strengths. Don't go on sick and apply. If you don't have any experience, you're gonna fail straight away from sick. You need to go to some other job search website like Indeed, or I can't remember but then Seek or any other website, they allow you to put into the criteria, or that the job, as long as it meets your criteria, the job will be automatically sent into your email. So you don't have to look for the job. You just put in the criteria that are the strengths of yours. And then the suitable job will be emailed to you. You know what I mean? If you speak Chinese, or if you got marketing skills, then you file for a job like marketing assistant marketer or whatever, and then you put Chinese into the criteria. And then you go to that person, even though you work as a receptionist or admin, tell them that I am studying accounting. I'm working for you as an admin, as a receptionist, but I'm looking for a place to do accounting intern. That would be good if you introduce me to your tax accountant, because that employer will have a tax accountant.
Wow.
Any
That's
employer, any employer that you works for, they have a tax accountant.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what job. It doesn't have to be accounting job right now, but you need to have a job in a professional world, like in a corporate world. And then you do the good job in that business. And then you ask them to introduce you to the tax accountant that they have.
Wow. That's awesome. I think that's a very great advice. I think that's a great tips that everyone can really pay attention to and really take it on. I never heard any advice like that before. That's very good. And then a lot of people ask me things like, so, you know, because a lot of times they are based in Hobart, so they're based in Tasmania, and of course in Tasmania it's a bit different from, it's actually quite different from Melbourne, or, you know, like other big cities. Would you recommend the same approach for Tasmania as compared to other states, just like Melbourne, or would you say they should do something different? Because Tasmania, of course, is a lot smaller. The community is not as much. There are less business. So what would you do? Let's say if you imagine yourself now, you know, become 22 again, going to Tasmania instead of Melbourne.
Yeah.
And looking for a job. What would you do differently? Yeah.
Okay, so put it this way, Tasmania is small. The first step you do is that you go on Seek, you search for, or go on any website, or even go on Google Maps. You search for accounting. For example, I can do this actually. Could you allow me to share the screen?
Yeah. How can I? Okay, let me see. Mike, I can use put in orange.
So you allow. All right. So I can put it this way.
My course, or should I can do that. How can I allow you to share the screen? What should I do? Pause, yeah?
I think you can't do it from this one. You have to do it from your account with Zoom. But that's okay. I can put it this way. What you can do is you need to understand the market. right? You understand the market, you understand about yourself. For example, if you're making an excuse that Hobart doesn't have as many accountants as Victoria, so I'm gonna say that Hobart doesn't have as many accounting students as Victoria. Does it make sense? So maybe the number of accounting students in Hobart just 500, in Victoria few thousand. So the competition is the same. The competition is the same, but is that you get it or other people get it? So I would do is like search Hobart accountant, and then it's gonna show on Google Map. Like you can just sit at home and then you search on Google Map with 3 keyword: accounting, accountant, tax accountant, and then because Google allow Google advertise prioritize all the accountant close to your proximity, close to your area, show up first, and then you will be able to see how many accountants around the area. What I did do in the past is that I did dress up professionally, bring my resume, walking into every accounting firm and say that I'm a tax accountant. No, I'm an accounting student. I had my experience as an accountant in Vietnam, because they don't know. They don't know that. They don't know if you work as an accountant in Vietnam or in the back country or not. But accounting principle is the same. Credit or debit is the same. The only difference is tax regulations or the government policies. That is the only difference. But accounting principle is the standard or the same in anywhere in the world. And that is okay. That is okay. After 2 weeks, they realize that you lied, and then they didn't allow you to work. That's okay. You still have 2 weeks of practicing. But then you learn a lot more. But like, I know that one of my friends dressed up professionally, bring his resume, knock on the door of accounting firm and get the job. But I didn't. From my experience, I didn't get it. So, like I said, any job for any company, even though they just recruit you as a bookkeeper or as an admin, telling them that, okay, now I work for you as an admin, but I'm willing to sort out the documents for you. Like I bring the documents for you, I bring the invoice for you from your business home, and I'm gonna sort it out for you. Because business owners, every quarter or every month, seeing the accountant, they don't have time to sort out the invoices for the accountant. Right? And then gradually, because they rely on you every month like that, tell them that, how about I'm not working as an admin, I'm working as a bookkeeper for you. Right?
I got you.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter which company that you work for. Maybe that company needs a bookkeeper. Then after working for them as a bookkeeper prior your graduation, could you change my job title from bookkeeper to accountant instead of bookkeeper? Like you can still work for them, but then they change the title of the job from bookkeeper to accountant. Then you got the same thing. It doesn't have to be like accounting firm. As long as your job description as accountant, then you got the door into other accounting firm. You got the job description as accountant for that company for a year. A year later, you can go to apply for a job as an accountant in the real position of accountant, right? You just need to have. You just need to have the record. You just need to have proof. So I know Tasmania is small, and then the number of business operating in Tasmania is not many. But I remember when I first came to Australia, the possibility of getting a job as an accountant, even in Victoria, it was like impossible, because the number of students that studying for accounting is just insane. The amount of job, every time you search on SICK, probably just 10 or 20 jobs. But then the number of people apply could be 2,000 people.
Wow, yeah, that's true. And I because we are based in Tasmania, so I can know a bit about this. Is actually there are quite a bit of a number of bookkeeping firms here. So they're actually not accounting firms; they're actually bookkeeping firms here. Would you suggest them to approach these bookkeeping firms as well to start with, rather than go directly to accounting firms? Is it also a good solution?
I mean, anything possible. After you work for bookkeeping firm for 1 year, 2 years, you can apply for a job as an accountant who works for Sydney firm or Victoria firm, but based in Hobart. Or they need an online accountant, you know, because everything right now is online based. But then they're not gonna give the job to you if you don't know how to use the online software. So
yeah. So it's the online software seems like a very important thing, isn't it? It's because everything now is online, so they have to know how to use it.
Yes, it's a tendency, and it is the way it is. So you need to get on it. Pretty much every accounting firm are looking into moving their system into online or 100% online base to adapt with COVID, because they're not going to see the client either. So yeah.
Great. You know, because what happened is, I think this is something that is a big problem for a lot of accounting graduates, is when they check the job description of, let's say, accounting job in Tasmania, and they see that, first of all, it requires the person minimum 1 year experience. Straight away, they feel like this is not for me. And then the second thing they look at is they will see another requirement is you must be a permanent resident. Then again, this is like, you know, another no for them. Would you recommend them to still give those things a shot, or if they see this sort of criteria, they should just like, nah, this is like, I shouldn't even go near there? But what would you say?
It was the same situation for me. Even my time, about 6 years, 7 years ago, any job offer was like at least 1 year of experience and then permanent and residency requirement. So I got my full-time job offer when I was not graduated from Deakin University yet. I didn't have my degree. I didn't have driving license. I didn't have PR or citizenship. It's just about if you can do the job. So I came to tell the employer that I could do this, and then they give me 2 weeks of trial, and then it turns out that I was really productive. And then my visa at that time was a student visa. It means that at least for 485 visa, which is the working visa, is gonna give me another 2 years. So for any employer, they just look like as long as you can work for them at least 2.5 years. Because even if you got PR or permanent residency or citizenship, on average, every employee only works for one employer about 2.5 years. If they say that, okay, you don't have PR, you don't have citizenship, tell them that statistically, every employee only works for one company from 2 years to 4 years, on average about 2.5 years. My visa for staying in Australia is gonna last another 2 years or 3 years. So if we fit together, if I can do the job for you, I can stay at least, like my visa allow me to stay at least 2.5 years. What else do you want?
Exactly. Yeah, that's spot on.
Even though other people got PR or citizenship, on average they only stay 2 years or 2.5 years. So my visa lasts that long. If we're good, I'm gonna work for you that long.
Yes. And why do you think these employers, they are so caught up with this? You gotta be a PR, you gotta be a citizen. Why do they have this concept that like they must hire a PR? I don't know where that comes from. Why is it like that?
Well, because the government gives support to the business when they hire people with PR citizenship. Say even the JobKeeper funding right now, the only eligible employee are the employee that got citizenship or PR. Because the purpose of the government is that they want to create a job for local people. Being international student, when you signed the form going to Australia, you already declare that you have enough money to support for you for 2 years. Right? Australia is a country that make money from international students. They make money from education. They make money, like they export education on spot. Do you know what it means? Like education, they sell for foreigners, that is exporting, but then they sell it in their country. Like exporting is a term that's showing that the products or services needs to be in a foreign country, right? No, they give you the services in this country, but to foreigners. So they make money from international students. And as a condition prior coming to Australia, you already declare that you have enough money for 2 years. So they want they want, and also as a government, they want to do good in the eyes of citizens. Like they want to reduce the unemployment rate. They want to reduce employment rate, and international students or foreigners are not calculated into the pool of unemployment rate. If you get a job, it doesn't change the number from the government of the unemployment rate, but local people get the job, it will reduce the unemployment rate of the government. And if local people get the job, the government don't have to pay unemployment support.
True.
Right?
So many benefits.
It's just all about the money. And also they give the incentives to business when they hire PR or citizen people. And it encourages the businesses to hire people with PR or citizenship. But let me tell you, if you can do the job, they don't give a damn. For example, like myself, 3 staff of mine right now are the people who don't have PR or don't have citizenship, because I was the same thing. As long as you can do the job for me, it doesn't matter. But because I'm coming from the background of an immigrant. Okay, yes, there are people they coming from, there are people who coming from the background of local people, native people. They are born here. So like I said, play with your strength. What is your strength? Resonate with those people. Don't try to resonate with the employer that you can't.
Okay, because a lot of my clients, they are either from Nepalese, some of them are Vietnamese, some of them are Indian. So what you're saying is they should try to approach the employer that maybe have the same ethnicity or the same sort of country that they came from, right? That would be a good starting point. Is that what you're saying?
That would be best. That would be best. Or even Australian employer, but looking for people with that language skills. Like my first employer was an Aussie, but a lot of his clients are Vietnamese. So he was looking for a Vietnamese speaking one. So you go on job search and then you put all the criteria. What was your prior experience in your own country? Maybe you're studying accounting now. For example, prior coming to Australia to studying accounting, I was a marketing manager in an IT company. So my skills was marketing, IT, and also economics. So I put my position was bookkeeping, marketing, admin, because I study accounting. I know about marketing and I'm really good at IT stuff. So you put all those, whatever come up, and I can guarantee that if you can just put the job search like that, every day you got few jobs that's suitable for you, go directly into your email that you don't have to do anything.
Got you.
So what are your skills?
So you just put it all the Got you. No, great. And I got stressed. I asked Hannah, are you willing to train people for accounting?
There would be cost involved because there would be time that we have to spend. But that is an option. I'm actually thinking of, like, because of COVID, I'm gonna organize online training course. You know, all the accounting training on the market right now are provided, like, for example, in Melbourne, they provided in the city of Melbourne that you have to go there, you have to sit down and whatever. So the advantages of that is that they already pay for software subscription. But the disadvantages from all the people that I have met with who join for the training is that you sit down, the computer already set up with the software. You don't even know how to set it up. But in the real world, when you got a new client, you have to set it up.
Yes. Wow. Great.
You see my point? You see my point? You sit down, you sit down in the venue, they already got the computer with the setup clients, like with the setup trial clients for every student to try. Like they set up a sample of 5 or 6 clients for like about 100 students to try. So you sit down, the data and everything already there. You don't even know the process of setting things up. Whereas setting things up is the first one that you have to learn.
Yeah. Wow. So
So,
true.
so I'm thinking of like organizing online course, and then training people how to try zero bookkeeping, how to try my bookkeeping or QuickBook bookkeeping, like 3 most popular online software, and those are the 3 most, the only 3 software that I am using, and that would cover like about 99% of the clients on the market. So
yes,
yeah.
I mean, trust me, they will love it. If you do it, they will love it. And I have an army of accounting graduates because we have a lot of clients here, and they love to learn from people who've been there, done that, and I think they have that impression already. Just
Thank you.
up now,
Thank you.
right? So one quick question, I think, which is probably about the last 3 questions here, is what do you think are some of the common mistakes that you see in these accounting graduates when they apply for jobs in accounting? What's some mistakes that maybe they can avoid? Because I guess they must make a lot of mistakes, right? This is accounting.
Yep. The first mistake is that you feeling desperate. That's the most important thing, because the business is just a reflection of your personal situation, even if you do business or even if you're working for someone else. If you feel desperate, that's the worst feeling, and it will never motivate you in looking for better opportunities, or it never motivate you to be more creative at work. So prior to my graduation, I was working for a Sri Lankan accounting firm, and that was the worst experience. I remember about 5 or 6 accountants standing in front of the principal accountant for reviewing work, and one of the girls were doing it wrong, and then he was like picking up the file and then throwing it across the room, and then she was crying, she was in tears, and she was picking up every single paper. From my point of view, from my own point of view, even if I was doing it wrong, but then if the employer don't respect me, I'm going to walk away immediately. But the desperate people are the one who will stick no matter what, no matter how horrible you are being treated. This is the horrible employer will never help you. When you need a signature for visa, when you need an employer recommendation letter for visa, they will try to like, okay, if I give you this letter, you need to pay me this much. Or if I give you this one, you need to do this, do that. Like the horrible employer are the worst. So the one who actually good, for example, who the good one, it doesn't have to be accountant or anyone who knows what they're doing. They understand that everyone makes mistake, and they understand that like if you do that to an employee, it only makes the feelings gone worse and the productivity gone down. Like for my employee right now, I tell them that every mistake will be fixed. As long as you're honest with me about the mistake, any mistake will be fixed, because you're living in Australia. Even if you do it wrong, you call the ATO, they will fix it. So Australia is not the country like Vietnam, like China or anything. If you do it wrong and you try to do it again, they try to get money from you. It's not like that. But the employer, the one who yell at you or being horrible with you when you make a mistake, is the one who doesn't know what they're doing. If you do that to the employee, next time when they make a mistake, they will never tell you. You know what I mean? Trouble is gonna come later, 2 months or 3 months later. So I just see that Ellen say that the employee probably don't have any other choice. So that is the worst thinking. If you think that you probably don't have other choice, you will never dare to walk away. But if you stick with that employer, every time when you need something from them, they're gonna try to do something horrible to you. So I walk away from that employer. And it's true, because that company, like the people coming in, 2 weeks later go away, the people coming in 2 months later go away. The good company is a company that got high retention of staff. That staff want want to stay. If the people who like want to stay with you, they're gonna put a lot of effort into the company, but it also means that the boss would do anything to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think that you don't have any other choice and you stay, in the end, when you need the letter the most, they're not gonna help you. They're not gonna help you, and I have seen that before. So the first mistake is that you never think that you're not good enough. It's just the attitude, because of course, if you first working, no one is good enough. The greatest people are the one who make the most mistake, because why? They learn from the mistake. If you don't make mistake, how are you gonna learn? Because you can't expect people who gonna like pointing fingers, showing you every single thing all the time. No, you do it for the first time, you make mistake, and then you learn why you make a mistake. And the next time you withdraw from your own experience. That's my own experience. And and the positive thinking is a thing that will help you to go through everything. Like, that's my own personal experience. I got offered that job when I was in the final term of my studying, like the last term of my degree when I was in Deakin. When I was about to graduate, he refused to give me full-time offer. He said that I will give you part-time offer, but he worked 40 hours. You know what I mean? Like, they pay for 40 hours, but he worked full-time. I'm willing work 60 hours if he give me full-time job. The same thing, because I need the full-time job to apply for my visa. But he did not try to help. So you see my point? The horrible people will never help you. So if you stay, in the end, you will be the one who get lost. So if you think that you don't have the other choice, you will never walk away, and that's the first mistake that you will have. But if you walk away, you go to somewhere, and then you tell the exact story. The good people who will see that you are brave. You're brave, even though you're desperate, but you walk away. So, you know, the good people will see that. That's the first thing. The second thing is, after I walk away from that job, even though I didn't graduate, I got the full-time job straight away from another firm, Australian boss, as request for PR and citizenship, request for degree, request for driving license. It was just close by. The other job was like about 40 minutes on bus, but this job like just locally. And then I came in and then I said that like, I haven't graduated, but this is my degree, this is my transcript, this is my marks, this is my degree from Vietnam, and I know this, I know that. And then they're gonna test if you know it or not. Like they're gonna test tax rule and regulation, and I did that, and they know it. And then actually the position was already offered for another girl. And then I came in, they turned the offer into me. Even though I was not graduated, I didn't have my degree, I didn't have my driving license, I didn't have my PR citizenship. So like I said, the positive thinking, if you believe into yourself, other people believe you. If you don't believe into yourself, if you think that you're not worth it, you're not good enough, no one's gonna trust you. And if you stick with the horrible people, eventually you're gonna think that you're not good enough. So that's the second mistake. You be brave enough to walk away the ones that you don't think is good for you. Because the only way for you to open another door of opportunities is that you close the horrible door by yourself. If the other people don't close it, you close it by yourself. If on the market, and it is all about the right time and right person. If on the market there are people advertising, of course they will need someone. And if you are that right person with a good knowledge, with can do attitude, and you got experience, you're gonna get it. Like tax accounting is so easy to get a job. You have no idea after like few months of experience, and then you just fake the resume that a year, just fake it a year. No, to be honest, even though you have only 4 months or 5 months of experience, put it a year. That's fine. And then after you work, they know that you didn't have it. Like for example, my situation, I only have 4 months of experience. I tell them that I got a year. After working for about 1 month of probation, they know that I didn't have 1 year of experience. But you know what? I bring work home to work. I bring work home on the
Nice.
weekend.
Excellent.
I,
Wow. That's
I
great.
make up for my productivity. And then they
Yes.
say, why not? Even though I didn't have 1 year of experience. So you need to get your foot on the door first. With the right person, they will help you. But
And
you
as
need
you
to
see,
help yourself too. You need to help yourself.
of course, which is again, I think this is something that they need to. I think that's the mental game is very important here. A lot of graduates, I think, they give up before they even try. Which brings me perfectly to the next point, which is many of them, when they talk to these employers, the number one reason why they don't hire is because they say that there's not enough business because of this whole COVID-19, and there's not enough, client coming in, so they don't have the fund to hire people. So what would you do if you hear that sort of response? Or because it's happening now, isn't it? Because
Well,
COVID-19.
I have to tell you that like it's not just happening in Tasmania, it's happening in everywhere as well. Like the recent report saying that 2,500 accountants unemployed because of COVID. Like Big Four slashing people. So it is a what is the word for that? It is a difficult situation for everyone, not just for you. And not just in Tasmania, even in Victoria or Sydney, there's a lot of accounting students didn't make it to become an accountant. Okay, not just Tasmania, everywhere. A lot of accounting students didn't make it to become an accountant. So, and if you stay in Tasmania, I think that the condition for visa is so easy. Like after you studying for 2 years.
Yeah, that's why they these guys and girls here, they come here because the policy for PR here is easier as compared to Melbourne or Sydney.
Yeah.
And that's why they here. But here's the thing, the policy nowadays, it changes
all the time.
Yeah, and they do require you need to have some sort of good job in order to get the nomination from the state government. I know people who drive Uber and drive taxi. They used to get the nomination like that, but nowadays they don't accept those sort of jobs like taxi and Uber driving. It doesn't help anymore. So that's why they need to find something relating to their field. So in this case, would be accounting or bookkeeping. That's where they meet the difficulties.
No.
It's,
I could give you 10,000 of business ideas right now. Don't narrow you guys mindset like that. Like you need to look at what the purpose the government wants. Just like what the purpose of the market needs. What does the government want from you? They want your commitment. They want your seriousness. The commitment here, the long-term job, is just one kind of commitment. The other bigger commitment is that you buy a house, you open the business yourself there. That's the commitment. If your family is rich, you buy a house in Tasmania for me. If you can't get a job, you open the business for me. What kind of business that you can open? It doesn't have to be restaurant, and don't open restaurant because of COVID restriction. You might be subject to close. What sort of things that you can provide? What are the things that you can do? If you could show with the government that I didn't get a job, but I create jobs in this local area. You know what I mean? You need to think from the purpose. What does the government want? So if you could think it that way, it doesn't matter how the policy change. You're always on the list of wanted immigrants. Wanted immigrants are the one who either got the skills that the country needs or contribute to the purpose of the country. You create job for people there. You commit to stay long term. You buy a house. See? So what else can you do in Tasmania? Okay, think about it this way. There will be a lot of people who stuck in Tasmania because of COVID. So they do not have chance of traveling around Australia. There will be a lot of huge amount of students stuck in Tasmania. Why don't you open a tour business? like get an ABN, just a basic ABN, get an ABN for $99, open a tour business for students, just driving around Tasmania, introducing, and then also not just creating the tour by yourself, you connect with some travel agency in Tasmania, because travel agency is the business that's dying right now. Before COVID, I was booking a cruise from Victoria, sailing to Tasmania, but then it stopped. So a lot of travel agency died. So why don't you go to connect with some museum, connect with some local tourist attraction, saying that I'm opening up this business for students. Because they have nothing to pay, but the family is so rich. They have no chance of spending money. You need to create the opportunities for them to spend money. So that's one thing. The other thing is like providing services. What else student needs? Because you're a student as well. What is the thing in your country? Like for example, in Tasmania, right now there would be a lot of students cannot go to restaurant. So they would need ingredients for cooking for themselves at home. But they can't find the ingredients that related to their country. Why don't you do importing business? You got some connection from your home country, from the back country. You import here, you can do it online. Like you create a Facebook page, it's that online, and then you import, you put it in your house. Like this small that way, you work your way up. You work your way up. And then you contact a tax accountant locally, saying that I need a tax accountant, work with them for a few months and say that, you know what, you need an intern? I go here to do intern for you. You know, be creative. But
exactly.
Be creative. Like if I have more time with you guys, I could give you like 20 business ideas, because I am the business advisor. I advise people to do business every single day. So because of this time of COVID and the government funding, and there's a lot of work on my plate right now. So I'm looking into opening up my online training for accounting. Maybe you do well. I open up my office in Tasmania to provide training for students, and I would need a local manager there. So that's one of the opportunity there. But as of this stage, I haven't got any plan yet. So what else do you think that from your network, like work from the demand? What does the government want? What does the market want? You need to work from the demand, okay? If you can satisfy that demand, then there's one business idea there. The rest of the stuff is really easy. You connect with one local accountant. I got this business idea, could I have one consultation? And then could you help me to open up the ABN? There you go, they already know you. After working with them for a few months, few quarters, you said that, you know what, I am also an accounting student. I run this business on my own on the side, but I'm looking for an opportunity to do intern. Do you have any available position? They already know you. Instead of someone introducing you, you introduce yourself by getting one accountant, work for your business, and then ask for the opportunity when the right time comes. Okay, be smart, be smart.
That's a very creative. I see what my impression so far is I think and everyone else's impression so far is you got to be creative, you got to have good attitude, you must be positive, and you think outside of the box. And because what happened is we are migrants, so of course things do not go in our favor most of the time, so we have to do things a bit differently. And I think that's what you have convey the message to everyone. I think probably the last questions of the day, because I know your time is very precious, is that so you say the software skill is very important for accounting graduate these days, but other than that, is there any other skills that you think these graduates can acquire right now in order to make them more competitive or more preferable in the eyes of the employer? Is there any other skill sets that is important for accounting?
Yeah, like even my employee right now, I have to show her how to write an email. Oh my God, like unorganized, because I think we come from the same country. We don't have the eye for beauty. We don't have the art sense in ourselves. For example, Okay, one report that you prepare, it is correct in terms of number, but it needs to be pretty at the same time. You know what I mean? It needs to be pretty at the same time. One email, it already conveys the message, but it needs to be pretty. Like, I mean, I have to use the word like beautiful and pretty at the same time. When you look at the email that you write, is that pretty? Some people, they write the name of the client with the capital and lowercase, not even in the order. And I'm like, do I even have to tell you this one? But because like from our country, we don't have the eye for that, or we never been trained like how to have the beauty eye in everything you do. But if we look at any product or anything that Westerner people do, you will see that there's always a beauty element in it. For example, at least the report need to be into alphabetical order, even though that the software, some people even like when I was working for old company, like that is the reason why that I'm better than other employee in the old company. After I done it, I print out the report, even though it's correct in terms of number, in terms of like tax payable, whatever it is. But then I always think about, can I make it look more beautiful or easier for people to follow? Because your clients are the one who have no idea about accounting. The report is like they put the item number, motor vehicle expense, or then admin start with A. I should stand before M. You know what I mean? Like the report needs, or anything you do, you gotta force yourself to do it beautifully. You can't just like do it halfway. Okay, I get it done, it's done. But then when your employer or your leader looking into it, it's like, if you're a really good cook, you can see that the person who cook beautiful always looks more delicious than the cook that no one even tastes yet. But the beautiful report is a report that the employer can charge for more money than the messy report. Because you dump that into the client face and then they said, okay, how the hell you charge me 5,000 for this? You know, and then you need to look into what does the boss want? Oh, they want someone that they don't have to, because they already hire you. They don't want to go after you and clean the mistake. Could you make it easier for the employer? Could you make it easier for the client? Could you make it easier for other team members to follow? So yeah.
The presentation is another thing that you say is important, right? Like you need to present yourself.
Yeah, presentable. Well, I mean, presentable. Yeah, make it
so that it gets in.
Yeah. For example, like my company right now, I work from home, but I got the banner at the back. You don't see the wall. You don't see, like, it looks like an office. You don't even know that I work from home right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, so anything that you come out, it needs to be beautiful, because that's what attracts people. Even though when you go to asking for a job, you need to make yourself look beautiful, because it is pleasant for them to look at you. It is pleasant for them to talk with you, because it is a human nature. Even you, like Leo, you gotta agree with me on this one. You love looking at a beautiful girl than a messy guy. You know what I mean? Everybody's just the same, and it works on everything that you do. So yeah.
Awesome.
I
think today is been. Is there any last advice, Hana, before we call it a day? Is there anything that you think that these graduates, they should know before they start this whole job?
Yeah, I think Tasmania, don't look at it right now. You need to look at the potential of Tasmania, the potential of it. Just like when you like a girl, for example, when you fall in love with a guy, don't think about how much money he has, but think about the potential of how much money he can make, right? For example, because there's a lot of girls who fall in love with a guy because he got a house and then he got a car, but you don't know that he got a tendency of doing gambling. Whereas There are other girls who fall in love with a guy who's right now just a student, but then he hardworking. Later on, your life better. So don't look at the market right now is having, looking at the potential that Tasmania is having. Go online, anything is public in Australia. Search for projects that being carried out in Australia by the government.
Mm-hmm.
How much money the government is putting into Tasmania? What are they going to build? Is there any supermarket that they're going to erect in the future? Is there any complex, any central complex that they're going to build in the future? How long does it take? For example, the government got a proposal building the hospital in this area of Tasmania in 3 years. When did your visa expire? Is that 3 years? Is that 1 year? Is it 5 years? If the government put into that contract for 1 year, if you want to buy a house, buy the house close to that project. Because why? Once that project is being carried out, there will be a lot of business opening up around there. Your potential will be higher. So don't look at that, oh, Tasmania is so small, there's not many employers, there's no one here. Do not look at it. Look at the potential of what is it going to be in the future. So you need to sit down how many years of studying that you have, how long your visa is going to last, what sort of skill set that you need to get before you graduate. Because one thing that could be called skill is a thing that you need to put at least 1,000 hours into it. Okay, remember this. If you want to get something called skill, you need to put at least 1,000 hours into it. How long does it take? 1,000 hours. Say you work as an accountant for about 10 hours per day, 1,000 hours, at least 100 days. So that's at least 3 months. Okay, if you give and take at least 3 months or more than that to be able to acquire some skills. So don't expect it's gonna come overnight. Nothing gonna come overnight. And it is okay for you to fail the first time or the second time. That's what I always tell my staff. If 8 hours at work, you don't put enough to be able to build that skill, you need to go home and try it. All right? If other people at work who can do it in 2 hours and you 8 hours, you can't do it, it means that you need to do it at least 16 hours to be able to compare with them in another 3 months. Because they do twice as faster than you. So typing skill, oh my God, like we are the generation of growing up with computer, but there are still people typing with 1 or 2 fingers. That is so bad on you on the first day of trying to work, and then you're typing with 1 or 2 fingers. But believe me, there are people who still typing with 1 or 2 fingers. And then Excel skills, Microsoft Office, they are all really office skills that you need to have. And don't talk too much at work. Yeah, because believe it or not, even Aussie people, they gossip a lot. I paid for my mistake. They gossip a lot. And oh my God, like when you talk at work, change the subject into something sexual. It is true, because that's the topic that got everyone laugh, but then you don't talk dirty behind anyone's back. So yeah, so it's a common topic that makes everyone laugh. Everyone gonna feel like, oh, she's so funny, but then you don't talk behind the boss, you don't talk behind this person, that person. So yeah, but it is okay if you make a mistake. It is okay, totally okay. Like I'm so okay with myself making mistake. You need to be able to forgive yourself when you make a mistake, because the worst thing is that when you make a mistake and then you sit down to the desk and you're like, oh my God, why did I make the mistake? And then you're feeling down for a whole day. It is not positive at all. So yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's it. It's very good. Yeah. I mean, thank you so much for your wisdom, right? You've been sharing a lot of good information today.
Thank you so much for inviting
me. No, you're welcome. And I think that the audience likes what they hear from you, and they love it. Yeah. So if they want to, let's say, maybe book a consultation with you, or maybe seek some sort of advice from you, is there any chance they can get
I
hold of
guess,
you in any way?
yep, I guess this is one thing that I can help for all young potential accountants today is that maybe Leo, you can help me with one form for them to sign up, like who's interested for accounting training.
Yes, I can.
If it's more than about like 10 or 15 people, I can proceed faster with the training course, like online. But I'm not going to train for at least 15 people because it's not going to effective, and it costs a lot of time to set up the online system to be able to connect that many people. And then, so if it's like about 10 or 15 people interested into the online course, then I need the detail. And I will be coming up with the information for the online training course as soon as I can. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That would be good. I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you guys got a like basic picture of, or hopefully I enlightened some people today. Not expecting all of you will be enlightened today, but whatever plan that you are doing, maybe you got a clearer picture of what you should do, or the way that you should do the logical thinking, step out of the box, think out of the normal range, and play with your strengths. Whatever you do, whoever you are, wherever you come from, or whichever language or the color of the skin, color of the eyes, believe me, Australia is the land of opportunities. There's always a place for all of us. If no one give you the opportunity, it means that you need to be the one giving other people opportunity. If you're jobless, it means that you need to be employer. Okay? Yeah, if you're jobless, if no one hire you, it means that you need to set up your own business. So, but either way, the accounting knowledge is always important. Even though you work for someone or doing your own business, having accounting knowledge is always good.
Of course. Thank you so much for your time today, Hannah. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
We look forward to doing more things with you and to help more people. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Talk soon.
Thank you guys as well. Yeah. Take care. Take care. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bye.